When phones weren't smart and houses weren't digital, you literally had to be there to chill. Now we're flipping through 65 photos of American life between the 1950s and 2020s to figure out how much has changed and what we might be missing. Kids on banana seat bikes versus electric SUVs and Ring doorbells on every doorstep. Cashiers punching prices versus scanning apps and cashier-less checkouts. Globes and chalkboards versus smart boards and AI teaching assistants. Shag carpet and giant wooden TVs versus minimalist setups and smart speakers. Food courts and record stores versus vacant halls or trendy pop-ups. Seatbelts not necessary, no air conditioning versus electric parking itself and fully networked. Acid wash jeans, Walkmans, teased hairstyles versus Y2K retrofits, earbuds, and baggy anything. Neon lights and paper trays versus touchscreen menus and QR codes. Jungle gyms and sprinklers versus more quiet, less giggling. Early morning wakening for cartoons versus infinite streaming and zero waiting time. Full service, 65 cents per gallon versus EV charging stations and $5 gasoline. Flipping records versus scrolling Spotify. Less searching, more algorithms. Cubicles and fax machines versus Zoom meetings and digital colleagues. Flip-flops, burgers, no phones versus Bluetooth grills and live streams. Notes passed between lockers versus AirPods, in and eyes on screens. Posters and cassette players versus LED strips and TikTok setups. Penny candy and push pops versus energy drinks and pre-workout. Blockbuster marathon versus scrolling 30 minutes before clicking play. Mixtapes and paper maps versus GPS and iPad kids in back. Punching in-home phone using quarters versus 24/7 access. Burnout. Roof of car under stars versus binge watching in bed alone. Avocado appliances and cookie smells versus polished countertops and air fryers. Spiral notebooks and pencil shavings versus tablets and touchscreens. Rusty slides and open supervision versus rubber floors and liability signs. Clown cake and Polaroids versus party balloons and Instagram stories. Waiting with anticipation for your show the entire week versus binge watching an entire season in one sitting. Recording from the radio versus dragging and dropping. Imagination and climbing versus charging stations and scroll time. Together with nothing else to distract us versus everyone on their own screen. Quarters in competition versus ads, microtransactions, and solo play. Trapper keepers and gel pens versus styluses and cloud folders. Sparklers, flags, and boomboxes versus drones. LED lights and quiet zones. Kids huddled around a boombox in the 80s versus friends with earbuds in their own world these days. In what decade did you come of age? 1950s or 2020s? Or both? Tell us your response in the comments. Disco ball music thumping versus LED lights and TikTok dance sounds. Donkey Kong and Pac-Man versus RGB lights and VR headsets. Cotton candy and carousels versus food trucks and selfie stations. Wait for it to develop versus 15 selfies, pick the best. Funky lights, bell bottoms versus neon leggings and wearables. Meatloaf and iced tea versus meal kits and oat milk. Squeaky floors and candy jars versus barcode pickups. Camping out for tickets versus hoping the app won't crash. Secrets under lock and key versus private stories for BFFs. Flashlight and dog-eared pages versus screen glow and swipe. Pink spoons and 31 flavors or tap to deliver. Gutter balls and jukeboxes or craft cocktails and neon lanes. Ball pits and birthday hats or touchscreen ordering and quiet tables. Planning the week or scrolling endlessly, still can't decide. Simple hose water slides and cushioned zone water parks. Homemade casseroles and 15 a-plate brunch buffet lines. Pegs and patterns and pixel-perfect drawing aids. Joysticks and blocky pixels and hyper-realistic graphics and reward every day. Wait a week for an answer versus seen in 5 seconds. Glaring lights and cacophonous toys versus Spartan packaging and unboxing on YouTube. Large is equal to greater versus compact, tidy, and cordless. Gas under 50 cents versus $5 gas per gallon. Hype countdown versus jumping straight to the chorus. Foam fingers and band music versus jumbotrons and digital ticket scans. Wishlist versus checkout cart fatigue. The real thing versus Insta-friendly throwbacks. Rewind with a pencil versus yearly stats on your personality. Bumping shoulders versus filming content. Crackly speakers versus timed pickups. Hope they answer versus hit me back. Laughter-filled streets versus quiet rooms, glowing screens. Which decade did you encounter? The 1950s, the 2020s, or somewhere in between? Leave it in the comments. Like and subscribe for more strolls down memory lane. Thanks for watching.